Oh, what is this? Oh, what is this now? Are these artifacts from the past? Or what are these? What are they made of? What? Look at this head. Looks like the head of a grey. Oh, look at the drawings and the carvings on these artifacts. Oh my god. Who made this stuff? Where did they come from? Ha 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 ha. Oh, what do these things mean? Yo, what motivated those people that made this stuff? You mean that they just came up with these ideas out of nowhere without ever seeing or having thought of this stuff? Ha! Who made this stuff? You think these things really existed? What do you think? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Ah, man. No, this is quite dazzling my mind. I don't understand these things. Ah, yeah. Much love to you, man, if you have watched up to this far. You are all very wonderful and amazing.
Trees that were just full of apples a few days ago, now empty.
Floored. Completely floored.
John Drummond said he was shocked to discover 50,000 apples missing from his orchard.
I mean, to be able to see an entire block of trees nearly cleanly picked when just days earlier there was thousands and thousands of apples on them, we just couldn't even fathom it.
The apples disappeared sometime last week. He says they noticed it on Saturday when they went out to check their fruit.
Well, we purchased and installed a new fence, which was great. We just did it a couple weeks ago. And unfortunately, we hadn't installed all the locks on the fence at that time.
These trees now empty. He says the thieves targeted trees in a valley at the back of the orchard. Since there aren't any apples on the ground, they believe the thieves came through, shook the trees, dropping the apples on a tarp to collect into bins.
Very often, people that would mass pick in that type of manner would want to use those for making applesauce or making cider.
The sheriff's department says whoever took these apples had to be able to transport them.
So we're looking for maybe a pickup truck or some sort of trailer that could pull this large amount of product.
Drummond says they now have locks and cameras on their property. But as he looks at his rows of trees,
I still can't believe it. There's just so many apples gone.
He's thankful that the amount stolen was only 5% of his crop.
This is just a bump in our journey, and there's a lot of apples still left out there.
Yo, oh, please don't steal anybody's stuff. Please. Just borrow, and you guys, if you have extra, please share with those around you if you see people look like they want. Oh, man, now what's happening here? Is this snow or what's this? What happened there? Oh my god.
All right, listen up, all you cheaters. If you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you ever need a Lyft or an Uber and you get in my car, be forewarned. If you ever pull this kind of shit that this guy pulled today, you got the same thing coming. Today I picked up a guy. His wife and his kids walked him out to the car, said, "I love you, Daddy," blah, blah, blah. So he gets in, he says, "Hi." He goes, "I added a stop." I said, "I saw that." So we go and we pull up at the stop, and this lady comes out, and she's got a little bit of luggage, like a handbag and a tote, a small tote. She gets in and she's like, "I am so glad you finally got away from your damn wife." Okay. So then he kisses her, and it wasn't a "hi, how you doing" kind of kiss. And so he goes, "I changed our drop-off location." I said, "I saw that." I didn't know exactly where it was that they were going at that particular time. I just saw that it had an update. So they continued to talk and this, that, and the other. And she says, "You know, I'm tired of you putting me off. When are you going to leave?" And he said, "You know, I've got some things I've got to take care of. You know, let's talk about this later, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah." Keep in mind, I was about 5 miles from his house. So understand something. This is my car. I work for myself. I am an independent contractor. If I choose to end your ride, it's my choice. Uber's not going to fire me. Uber's not going to ban me. Uber's not going to get rid of me. If you are doing something crappy in my car, I have the right to handle it however I see fit. Well, things didn't turn out so well for him. I took him back to his house. I drove up and made him and her get out of my car at his home where his wife and his kids were. There was no other way this was going to go on. There is nothing worse than a dog I don't give a fuck if you're a female or you're a male. Pull some shit like that in my car and you're going to get done like that. Karma's a motherfucker. Be better people. Do better in life. It didn't end well for him today, I'm sure, because both of them had their baggage and both of them were standing in his front yard when I left. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, and I hope you see this, you piece of shit.
Please see you that are in relationships. No need for cheating, man.
Yet or not? I'm not talking about the ones that are trying to save other people. I'm talking about the ones that keep on getting in line, rolling their sleeves up, and doing it over and over again because your TV is telling you and the white coats are telling you.
It's fascinating, but it's the truth. Many plants stop releasing oxygen at night and release carbon dioxide just like us. So if you're selecting a plant for your bedroom, you want a plant that's going to continue to release oxygen even while you sleep. And that's why I'm convinced you're going to love the bird's nest fern. The Asperlinium nidus comes in this luminous lime green with elongated fronds that continue to release oxygen at night and purify the air.
Wow, that's interesting. Can I just sleep in the forest?
You could just tell that giving hugs was the way she showed love.
I love you too.
She would walk over to us and just throw her body against us. Getting hugs from her are the best kinds of hugs in the entire world. She knew that she was safe. Helen lived on a chain in a stall for 19 years and was born blind. It definitely took her a few days to get used to our voices and to learn that she was in a new place.
Hi, Helen.
Since Helen can't see us, she does use her other senses like sound and touch to experience the world. Helen absolutely loves rubbing herself up on things. She loves rubbing up against us. She loves scratching herself. She loves listening to the birds, and we play music for her.
I'm right here, Helen.
With Helen being 19 years old and living the life that she had, we're determined to make every day the best day of her life.
Hi, Helen.
We wanted to make everything very convenient for her, and so we thought about all her senses. We started off by putting a solar-powered water fountain so she always can hear the trickle of the water. Additionally, she loves listening to sounds, and so we hung wind chimes up by her room. Not only can she enjoy listening to those sounds whenever the wind blows, but she can also get to her room very easily.
Helen's listening to her wind chimes, getting a tush scratch.
Helen absolutely loves rubbing herself up on things, so we installed a couple brushes onto the fences and onto her run-in shed. You can just find her at all hours of the day, rubbing up on them. We installed a hay holder and a water bucket holder in her room. She always has access to fresh food and water. We installed a night vision camera, and it's just good to make sure that she's okay at all times. We would sleep out there if we had our way.
Here, Helen.
It's just the cutest thing to watch her. She's just so happy.
Good night, beautiful. We love you.
We wanted to show her we were here to protect her and to love her. We did not know that it was possible to love somebody so much. I will find that I am just yelling that I love her even as I'm leaving the pastures.
Love you, Helen.
Helen is the most beautiful, loving soul we've ever met, and ultimately she's taught us.
Well, you see now that's very interesting. And that's a very motivating video because it's now speaking about our message. You see, that's very nice here. When you see humans interacting or relating so well with animals or other humans, that's so good. You see, love always wins. And we say that a lot because love is like the key to everything. You see that animal, how good do you think it feels just saving those humans? It must be really, really nice. And the universe, guess what? Universe will reward those guys generously just because of sharing love. And it doesn't cost them anything. just like giving up away a part of yourself, and it will just come back. Because if you do good and share up, you always receive love in response. What do you think? Share up from wherever you are. Hit the like button, the super thanks button. Join us, be a member. You are loved, man. Let's keep watching. Watch till the end. Good vibes only, man.
Hey guys, so get this. There's this guy on TikTok who's been getting a lot of attention lately after he posted this video claiming to have seen a giant. Now, in his first video, he's talking about finding the secret door on the side of a mountain, and he swears he saw something huge, almost like a giant, closing the door and then peeking out at him through that little crack in the rocks. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. This guy's probably just reaching for views, and I totally get it. That was my initial reaction too. But the more I started digging into some of Oregon's legends, the more I started thinking, maybe this guy really is onto something. Maybe he found the entrance to a Nune home. Now, the Nune are sometimes referred to as the Immortals. If you haven't heard of them, I'll give you a little background. Cherokee folklore is full of stories about them. They had these underground houses all over the Appalachian Mountains, and supposedly they've spread to mountains all over the world. They love hanging out on high peaks hidden away in dense forests. They've managed to stay hidden from humans for years now, thanks to their ability to turn invisible whenever they want. Usually, they only reveal themselves to people when they're interacting or communicating with them. The Cherokee saw the Nune as these supernatural humans, totally different from ghosts or natural spirits. Hunters would tell stories of hearing them way up in the mountains, singing and dancing, but whenever they would try to find them, the sounds would just bounce around, coming from all directions, so they never could actually find them. The Nune would sometimes warn the Cherokee of future dangers and protected them in times of need. One of the most well-known stories about the Nune tells how they helped the Cherokee when the Cherokee were forced to leave their homeland. According to the story, the Nune came to a Cherokee village and told them that there were great dangers and catastrophe on its way, and they needed to pack up their belongings and be prepared to leave in just 7 days. After the 7 days, the Nune returned for the Cherokee and led them to a large stone deep into the mountains. As the Cherokee watched, the massive stone rolled away, revealing an entrance that led into the most beautiful place that they had ever seen. Families rushed into their new sanctuary without ever looking back. However, some of the people refused to enter, and instead, they chose to stay outside and face whatever was about to happen to them. Those who lived passed the story down from generation to generation. So, after reading this story, I got to thinking, does Oregon have any similar legends of mountain dwellers? After a bit of digging, I found the legend of the Techuma. I hope I'm saying that right. They're also referred to as the Little People of Cascade Mountains, which coincidentally, Courtsville Drive, the road that RBD Cell took this video on, just happens to be in the Cascade Mountains. Now, these guys are a bit different because these guys aren't so friendly. They tend to only come out at night, and they will call out to each other by whistling, almost like a bird whistle. It is said that if you are in the area and you hear their songs, do not respond and do not try to follow it, because they have the power to drive a human mad. Another tribe in Oregon speaks of another legendary race who, just like the guys before, are also known to reside inside the mountains and are described exactly the same, like legendary dwarves with supernatural abilities. They are often referred to as baby feet. A lot of these legends are hard to find now because they've been passed down by word of mouth. But there are many places in Oregon that are named after these legends, like Baby Rock, Babyfoot Lake, and Babyfoot Creek. And you know how in his video he said that there was a giant limb that fell seemingly out of nowhere, far away from any trees or anything in the area? And then later he said that there was a giant rock that all of a sudden began rolling down the mountain toward them? Well, these creatures are known to uproot trees and throw large rocks. Now, normally they aren't doing this type of thing maliciously. They actually use the trees and rocks to build their homes, and they use it to kind of camel their homes out and make them hidden to the human eye. Sometimes at night, you can hear them in the woods banging around and making loud noises as they rip trees up for their homes. Now, in the video, he did say something about seeing a giant close the door, and obviously these things are not giants. But I'm not discrediting him just yet. Even if these are the entrances to some type of mountain dweller's home, there are several stories that refer back to giants as the gatekeepers. That's because they've been known to guard these doorways, protecting the inner cities from people who may stumble across them.
Oh, okay. Oh shit, those about
Some
that.
of you really need to hear this.
The person who's been traumatized wants nothing more than love. But because it's so unfamiliar to them, when they get it, they're suspicious of it. And they reject it, and they test it, and they punish the person who's trying to love them, unless they meet somebody who's bad for them. When they meet somebody who's bad for them and is also abusive and is also neglectful, this feels familiar. I know how to navigate this person. I'm going to love you with all my heart. But somebody who's consistent, caring, and loving, what's wrong with you? Why are you loving me? This can't be real. Let me test you. Let me swear at you. Let me shout at you. Let me pretend to break up with you. Let me test you. But you, the abusive, neglectful, narcissistic kind of partner, you're exactly what the doctor ordered. I know exactly what to do with you, so I'm going to love you endlessly.
Now, I know some of you are squirming right now after watching that, but the reality is this is what's going on. So if you've been asking yourself why you keep repeating the same toxic relationship patterns, why it feels like you've been dating or ending up in a relationship with the same person with just a different face, you have to be able to understand two things at this point. First, having that awareness about what's actually going on and why you're repeating the pattern. And second, when you know that it's not good for you and yet you still go forward with it anyways, that's that part of you that looks for the familiarity. And until you acknowledge that, and until you actually begin shifting that part of yourself, you're going to continue repeating the same patterns.
If you're watching this video and you miss love, lots of love to
I
you.
have been saying this for so long, and finally we have someone from inside the club come out and confirm that everything we're thinking is absolutely correct.
I think the problem that we've had is that we have people decided that they didn't really want to work so much anymore through COVID, and that has had a massive issue on productivity. Tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. They have been paid a lot to do not too much in the last few years, and we need to see that change. We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40-50% in my view. We need to see pain in the economy. We need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. I mean, there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. So it's a dynamic that has to change. We've got to kill that attitude, and that has to come through hurting the economy, which is what the whole global, the world is trying to do. The governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment.
Is that not the conspiracy that we've all been talking about? Governments around the world actively trying to increase unemployment and cause pain to hundreds of millions of working people in order to scare them, to scare you into submission, to make you fear for your livelihood so that they and their corporate overlords can make even more money off of your labor. Speaking to those workers out there, I just want to remind you that you are already more productive than ever without getting paid for that increase in productivity. All of that wage growth is only going to the top 1%. CEOs are making 351 times more money than the average worker, up from just 21 times the average worker in 1965. Corporate profit is no longer correlated with employee compensation. It's a completely rigged neo-slavery system that they're trying to construct, and it's all out in the open now.
Oh man, now that pains my mind.
You all wanted me to talk about time maps, so let's do it.
One night I was called on the telephone and I was told to go to a certain address. I just got in the car and went there. And I'm going to tell you all something. I walked into what looked like a normal building, but when I got inside this building, I'd never seen anything like that inside, because all along the top of the building on the upper rows, it seemed like invention after invention after invention after invention. And it went on and on and on. What was on that shelf were things like magnets that picked up gold coins, gasoline that was made from plants, which he called green gasoline, coils that I've never seen, almost like a Tesla coil, but much steeper angles, which were all resonant at a certain frequency. Paid very close attention to one thing. There was this chart, and it was basically laid out like this here. Had all these little lines like this on the chart. but it was huge. I started asking, what is this chart? And he said, well, go over there and look. And so I went over there, and it showed where time started on our time scale. And then it went on and on and on, and it got up into somewhere in here, and 2001 was about here. Because I was in 84, I was back here somewhere, and there were little pictures underneath the chart. And I know that most people are going to find this hard to believe, but all along this chart it said who the presidents were, whether they were assassinated or not assassinated, what the year was going to bring as far as food for the world. And when I got up here, it said that the world was in a chaotic condition, basically, at 2000. And it showed war and war and war and war and more war. It also showed that it named the presidents by name. It showed Reagan, it showed Carter, it showed Reagan, it showed George Bush Sr., and after that it showed Clinton. It said the Clinton years right in here somewhere. I was back here. How they knew even who the presidents were was a mystery to me. And when I asked him that question, he says, we know. We know who's going to be the president. And right around in here, he said, it showed a little picture, and it showed two little towers. And it showed them on fire. But it showed war. It showed war from here on all the way to the end. And it said that time, it ended here for us, 2036 or 2034 or something. But it said it ended there, and it ended in disaster. There's nothing went on past that.
It's the spiritual war of good against evil, and I just hope that there's enough good in the world that we can rally together. If we don't, these monsters will destroy humanity.
Oh my god. Oh, you see, right now there is a lot going on in the world, and there is so much chaos, you see, and the love is deteriorating, and the goodness and humanity is going down, you see. That's why we are here, to send this message out there to the world, to make a good impact, a positive impact to everybody out there. Please spread love, you see. If these things you are seeing here, they are just for entertainment, but prevention is better than cure. Prevention of a chaotic future. You see, those that have children, that bring up children, show them love, caring, respect. You see all those things, and the world would be better. Please share love from all over the globe. You are loved, everybody. Is this the time to be good people? People of love and good vibes. Let's keep watching, man.
Most important of all, continue to show deep love for each other, for love covers a multitude of sins.
You see, please share love. Love is everything.
No one knows how this works, and I'm challenging you guys to let me know in the comments, how do you think this works? I have a block of wood, I have a piece of glass. Going to go into the block of wood. I'm then going to take a switch which is attached to nothing. There's absolutely nothing attached to this switch, and I'm going to place it on the bottom right here. All right, that is now screwed in, and as you can see, it's still not attached to anything. And lastly, I'm going to take this little light, this little diode, stick it through the hole, and hopefully if we hit this switch, it will turn on. Even though that switch is attached to nothing, it somehow still turns on. Let me know in the comments how you think this works. Like this video for more cool stuff.
What type of physics is that?
I love you. I love you. Я... Ты что-то завис, что ли? Тихо. Плохо.
Вкусный ему. Вот он лежит такой.
Do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah.
These animals are very interesting, but most things are happening all over this realm. Stupid flare with us don't know what a lens flare is. Well, I can see it's of course, but his second son was a lens flare. It would appear alongside the other one at the bottom of the screen. Ha! Providing this is in fact a second sun or the projection of the source of light that it did not usually see. Oh, is this another sun or another planet? What is this? Don't think it's a new narrative either, because this knowledge has been documented since at least 1600s. How? Oh, from petri gas in India, Arizona, and even experts from the sightings. Oh my God, this is there was something hard to think about. Do these two cells have always been there since the past? I doubt. What do you think that is, man? That other thing that looks like the sun? No, do you mean that history is really alive? Oh my God! It's like I really need to do a lot of research. No, you guys that do research, what do you think about that other sun? Is it a sun or another planet? I don't know. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. You are loved, beautiful, amazing, respected, adorable. You are just everything good and wonderfully and fearfully made in the image and likeness of whoever made you. You see, we are all amazing, and much love to you, human out there. Share love and caring. You are respected. Keep it up for another very hot episode. Till we meet next time. Bye bye.